Welcome back to another B-Shine interview. This time we have a young artist from Buffalo, New York by the name of YBD Esco. We talked about coming up as a young artist, the Buffalo hip-hop scene, touring in 22 cities, and what his visions are for the future. Please like this video, leave a comment, and make sure to subscribe. And without further ado, here's YBD Esco. Let's start out by just letting people know who you are and where you're from.
We go by YB Esco from the Buffalo, New York area, East Side.
Talk about what was your upbringing like in Buffalo? What is Buffalo like for people that haven't been there?
It's good and it's bad like every city. And me and my situation, I grew up in what we call the trenches, the urban area, the ghetto, whatever you want to call it. You know, I wouldn't say it was, everybody got a bad story. I mean, everybody got a story. Some people worse, some people better. I mean, I grew up in a household with two parents. I grew up with a great upbringing. It was just, hey, I was just a product of my environment. You know, when you growing up into this shit, I'm sorry for my language, but when you growing up into stuff like this, you know, when you seeing the daily activities, criminal activities, drugs, stuff like that, you know, it's easy to get swallowed up into it. And that's pretty much what it was for me, you know, just trying to figure out my way through life. And I'm still in, Matt, almost 30 years old, just trying to figure this thing we call life out. That's it.
Yeah, we're always learning and we're all a product of our environments.
Mm-hmm.
So what were some of your early influences into rap and hip hop? What were some of the things that first inspired you when you were young?
First was really my father, Carnell. He had a production company here called Lake Effect Productions. He worked with Pat Pools, worked with some of the local artists that was here on the up and coming. We had a record label back in the day called Buff City Records. He did a lot of stuff for them. So it was like just watching him on a day-to-day. He wasn't really into the artist part of it per se, but just more so the production and engineering, the behind the scenes business, stuff like that is what really intrigued me. And then later on, I actually learned how to put words and schemes and stuff together and became an artist.
That's dope. Who were some of your early influences coming up? Was it around the era when Papoose was, doing all the mixtapes?
It was that era. My favorite rapper actually coming up was Lil Wayne because of his work ethic, the delivery, the cadence. I could go on for days about Lil Wayne. That was really like my favorite rapper from 99 up and still till today. Like I still listen to him. And then now if we talk about today, I listen to a lot of Lil Durk, a lot of Meek Mill, a lot of G Herbo, Conway, Benny. I listen to a lot of people who got stories to tell and who really, who just come from the same type of upbringing I come from and just trying to put it out there and make it better.
Mm-hmm. That's dope. What is your, I guess, plan or goal with music? This is something that you are taking very serious, something that you want to turn into a career and, and also maybe a stepping stone to other avenues, maybe in entertainment. Is that right?
Yeah, music right now, definitely very serious just because I've been doing music since I was 16, 17 years old, but I never took it serious. It was just like, hey, I got a mic, I got a interface, I got a computer. Like, hey, let's make some music, guys, whatever, we chilling. But now it's more so like, I'm good at it, I'm talented, and not just that, but it is an avenue for other things. I'm also in the shirts. I create clothing. I do clothing, print and press, embroidery, all that type of stuff. So it's like the music helped me in that field. And then now moving on to just business in general, it's just the branding itself. It helps a lot with branding. That's my focus on the branding.
Dope. Now, when I asked you a question, you said something that you're good at it. I'm not trying to challenge you, but I think it's an interesting question is how do you know that you're good at it? Is it the feedback that you're getting from people or what lets you know?
It's the feedback, consistent feedback I've been getting for years. Like I said, we always got room for improvement, always could do better. If you say you're the best at something that you can't improve, then hey, I just feel like, hey, you's a dumb motherfucker. Sorry to say it like that, but we all, as even adults, there's always something that a tool we can sharpen, something we can learn, something that can make us just that much more better at what we're doing. So when I say I'm good, again, it's like you said, from the feedback, years and years of doing it, performing, recording, everything. I always got good feedback. Of course, you get the people like, hey man, you could have did this better, could have did that better. Overall, sound good, but just mostly a lot of the feedback and a lot of energy that I get from working with other artists as well.
Mm-hmm. Dope, man. What is the message that you portray in your music? I've listened to a couple of your songs, the videos you have out there, but I want to just get your take on, what message are you portraying in your music?
Right now, it's more of a just showing like going back to your original question, the upbringing, the environment, the product, the stuff that we come from as artists. Everybody got their own stories, but it's just like I just want to shed light on a little more light on what Griselda already doing here for Buffalo. They already putting us on the map with the new style, showing the area that we come from, showing, everything that's going on here in Buffalo that a lot of people slept on. And I just want to piggyback off that, really, not say follow them, but piggyback off it. Keep shedding that light on Buffalo, keep shedding the good things about us, the stuff that make us who we are and why we are the city that we are, why we the city, the all-American city that they call us, and the city of good neighbors and stuff like that, But you got to get that backstory in order to understand where we at here today. So that's just trying to keep people up to date with Buffalo, man, and just giving them Buffalo. That's all I can do is give you Buffalo. That's where I'm born.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, speaking of Buffalo, they were recently in the news because of this huge snowstorm that happened a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And there was a couple dozen people that ended up like freezing to death out there.
Yeah.
I heard one of the stories about a girl. There was like a 22-year-old girl. She was driving like somewhere, maybe a highway or something, and she just got stuck. Her car got stuck and nobody could come out to her. And she just froze like that. And I was like, that was crazy. How was it for you? What was the situation like in your area?
I was actually stuck at work for, I believe, 4 or 5 days. It definitely was a tough time overall for the city. Me personally, I can't really say I had a bad experience with it because, I was still able to have power. I was able to be in the shelter. But for the people that was stuck out there, that was going through without lights, without gas, I could just imagine how terrifying, how horrific it was for them to have to endeavor that. You know what I'm saying? Like to be in the house, not knowing if you're going to be able to get out, not knowing when your lights going to get cut back on, if you're going to have food to survive the whole duration of the storm, when the storm going to end. Just all those questions in your mind. I just know it's very traumatic for ones who situations was worse than others.
Yeah. I mean, you guys are used to having like extreme snow and cold.
Yeah.
But
that was
else.
extreme. Like I think they said the last blizzard we had like that was the blizzard of 77. And again, that was before my time. And I'm pretty sure, a lot of people who were dealing with it time. So it was like, yeah, we used to snow, but we wasn't used to that.
So you were stuck in the building for 4 days?
Mm-hmm.
So you just basically had the same clothes on, just had to sleep at the work building? That's pretty wild.
Hand washing, bird bath, stuff like that, just trying to survive.
How many people were in the building?
It was me and another guy. We were the last.
So it wasn't like a whole crew. It wasn't like
it was just we were like the last two to leave out, and our tires just really was stuck. Really, is what it was. Snow had already covered us up to by the point that time. It's like, hey man, might as well just stay here.
Yeah, I gotcha. So about Buffalo, the hip hop community, can you talk a little bit about how it functions? Because I know some cities like New York is in very close proximity where a lot of artists, they know each other. They go out to, you go to a show, you're going to see artists from like Queens and Brooklyn, and everybody kind of like works together on some level. But there are some cities where it can be very divided as well. And a lot of people just kind of stick to their circles. So how would you describe, for people that are interested in knowing more about Buffalo, how that works with the artists?
In Buffalo, we kind of the same. We're pretty close. Buffalo, real small city, so a lot of the artists know each other. A lot of us then grew up with each other and football, basketball together, party together, all type of stuff. So it was like we definitely very close, but very divided. I will also say as well. And I say that to say, with us being a small city and us knowing each other and knowing everybody, it's been a long time in our city where there was like a crab bucket mentality to where everybody was pulling each other down to get to the top. Now I can say in this last year with the bump, like a lot of help from different people here in the city. A guy by the name of Happy Entertainment. He got a company called Joint Venture Music Group. Guy Tyreek Hines. Guy We Make Hits. Lady named Abby. I could go on. Saturday Night Live shows, 716 Live. It's a lot of shows, a lot of now I don't want to say local because they do a lot of more work than want to be called them local, but a bunch of great Buffalo platforms here that's bringing that culture together. You know what I'm saying? It's not just based on popularity no more. It's not just based on, oh, you got 100K views, so we're gonna rock with you. No, everybody is working with one another. They're trying to pick one another up. And you see that in these last few months, last year or so. Everybody is now trying to help each other out versus that crab bucket mentality.
That's great to hear. And it's with the help of that production company trying to put people together.
Well, it's multiple production companies. Like I said, it's multiple platforms, multiple different people just, coming up with different ideas to keep the culture together. Most of us grew up in Buffalo, seeing the diversity, seeing everybody be in their own circles, do their own thing over here or over there, or when it come down to supporting the next artist, you pulling them down versus building them up. We all went through that, grew up seeing it, to where now in our years that we are now pursuing this career, pursuing this art that we're doing, hey, we just want to make a change. And I commend every single one of those platforms that's doing that. Forgot to mention Lit City too. Bunch of more too, I forget. But as the names come on, I'll be shouting them out.
Yeah, that's dope. I think what some people fail to realize is that there's strength in numbers. And if you help someone else in your community, another hip hop artist or group, that in turn helps you. So everybody supporting each other is because there's enough money, there's enough exposure for everybody to shine. Right. Kind of take how, Atlanta did it. They supported each other and they had their own little industry. It can work the same way. So that's great to hear that you guys are coming out of that old mentality and kind of forming a new one.
Forming a new mentality. Yep.
That's super dope. Now, do you remember some of the more notable Buffalo artists like Griselda, like before they really got on? Do you have any stories about some of that?
One I'm familiar with, Dre Cash. A lot of people, if they don't know me, had a viral song here called Chips a few years back. Very close with him, actually, because we did a lot of shows together. He was doing showcases before he got his notice, and I did a lot of showcases with him. So just that, first and foremost, was a road to the new mindset that we are. Just a lot of people was getting into the showcases, as well as her name, KB the Champion, another one, very talented young lady, as well, put a lot of showcases together. Who else? A guy by the name of Greg Burt. He put a lot of showcases together at Stamps, which brought people together. I mentioned Larry, mentioned Tyree. Talia, that's the lady, she runs the Saturday Night Live. Abby, she got a new magazine actually called Connected Magazine here in Buffalo. She actually did our first Buffalo Hip Hop Awards here as well. Another guy, my man Mac Mills, we actually come from the same neighborhood. He out in Atlanta now. He actually got a company called Pets on Wheels. But again, another person that had a bunch of viral songs, stuff like that. And now, hey, doing this thing out in Atlanta. I could go on, man. The names, I could go on. And that's why I keep stopping, because I'm trying to get my mind together. There's so many names I can say.
That's cool. That's good to know that. It's good to know that it's a close community, that you know so many people from it. Mm-hmm. What would people know you for in the community? Are you maybe like that quiet dude in the corner that just when he grabs the mic he goes crazy, or like how would people remember you?
It's yay and nay, because like it depends on who, like, what crowd I'm around. If it's a crowd I don't know too many people in it, then yeah, I'm that quiet dude until you see me on stage, and then it's like, damn, where did this energy come from? We ain't heard a word from him. But if it's a crowd that I'm pretty like, okay, nah, I know you, I know you, I know you. It's a real familiar crowd. Then if you know me, I got a bubbly personality. I'm a jokester. I I swear I should have been a comedian versus being an artist because all I like to do is crack jokes and stuff like that. But I'm just a funny guy, funny person. That's really it. Really, they just tell you I'm just a genuine funny person, just like a cool funny person, not like that like comedian, but just a cool funny person, cool to be around. And I handle my business. That's it.
That's dope, man. Now, I want to ask you a question about something I saw from one of your videos. Um, a couple of the songs that I heard is kind of like I guess you could call it like street mentality music because you're talking about maybe like oppositions, you're talking about getting money, things like that. And one of the videos, I saw you have like a stack of bills, and you're kind of like flashing it off in it. And there's a lot of controversy around that type of content. I just want to kind of get understand better from like how you think about these things, because we saw something like PNB Rock, that from Philly, he went out to
LA.
LA and he was wearing jewelry at the Roscoe's. And how do you think about those things when you draw attention to yourself with money like that? I don't know if you're I don't think you'd be out in the street like flashing money like that.
Yeah.
But on video, it does still draw attention.
Right.
Do you kind of how do you think about that thing where I think it can be risky doing things like that?
Risky, so, right. Me personally, I'm not a big fan of the flashing. That's why if you see a lot of the video, you will probably see a few of them that I am, but not too many. Reason being, it depends. To me, it just depends on the song. Like if it's one of them uppity, upbeat songs where I'm just trying to get the viewers' reactions or get their attention, then yeah. But mainly, I really not a big fan of. I'm not a big fan of flash. I'm not a big fan of showing weapons and videos. I'm not just because I really come from that. What I'm saying, that type of upbringing, that type of stuff, to where it's like I still deal with homies who still do stuff, still get active. So it's like I can't be the one putting their story out there, or what I'm saying, dry snitch is what we call it. I just can't be that person. So the most you will get out of me, I'll flash a couple stacks or whatever. Hey, make it look good for the people. But other than that, nah, I'm not a big flexer, I don't even like to wear jewelry outside for real no more. Just cause it's too, like you said, it's just too risky. Not that anybody's scared, but it's like, why go through it? Why go through it over a couple pieces of jewelry? Why go through it over a couple bills? Why go through it? I just personally like to stay to myself and stay out the way. But you will catch me occasionally. Just again, that's for the people, to get the crowd's attention sometimes. But it can be risky. You're definitely right.
I got you. I appreciate you sharing that. That's something I always think about, and I wonder how younger artists feel about that are doing that. So that's kind of where the question came from. So what's on the horizon? What do you have in the works now?
Well, we have a whole EP. That song was part of a 4-track EP that we released on the 16th called My Brother's Keeper. Currently, I'm working on a next project called Hustle Man. 12-track project, got everything recorded, mixed, just really working with my team now to figure out when a good release date. And right now, just like I said, branding. This all 2023 been about for me is just branding, networking, and just getting me out there. A lot of people don't know who I am outside of Buffalo. A lot of people wouldn't know that I toured with Conway, the Machine. A lot of people wouldn't know that I traveled as much as I did doing this music. A lot of people don't know it because I'm just not one of them people that show everything or talk about everything. I just more so do it. So this is really now just my year of just getting out of that shell, getting out of that, I want to say shy shell, not wanting to show what I'm doing when stuff I'm doing is really dope. It need to be seen, need to be heard about, but I'm just working on it now, trying to get out of it.
Well, okay, let's talk about that. How much touring have you done with Conway and or just in general? Because I think that could lead to some good stories.
Good stories. Well, with Conway, I actually was on tour with joint with one of his artists by the name of Goose by the Way. We had a song called Chip Off the Old Block together. And he wound up taking this song on tour. And I wound up going with him since I was a feature. And it was dope. We did, I think it was a 22 city tour. We from Atlanta to Phoenix, LA, so many places, over 22 cities. And it was just dope, real dope. I got so much game from Conway himself, just listening to him, how he interacted with his team, with the fans, his crowd control, his cadence during the state, like during his performances. Just, it was a lot I learned. A lot I learned. Even the behind the scenes, the business of it. It was dope. It was real dope. And then after that, I actually did a personal self tour where I was doing a lot of shows with a platform by the name of Coast to Coast Live. I had released a project, I believe, what was the name? Sorry, Street Art was the name of that project. And I did like a press run with them where I did about 4 or 5 shows in different cities, went out there, studio time. My last show I just did was in Miami, and I had a little studio session out there with a company by the name of Lucrative Youth. They were dope, real dope. This is again just networking. That's all this just networking.
So you did a 22 city tour?
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty big.
Yeah.
What's something that like stands out to you that you learned about yourself across that period of touring 22 cities?
Really that's a great question. It was, I would have to say, just my hustle. It showed a lot on that tour. To me personally, like a lot of people tell me I need to give myself my flowers. I need to, I need to speak on what I do because I do dope stuff. And it's like I'm the hardest critic on myself. I promise you I am. I could record a song and a person like, oh, bro, that's it. No, it's not. Hell no, bro. I can do this better. I can do that. And it was just like on this tour, just everything that I dealt with, far as the traveling, far as merch, far as just everything that was put on my shoulders when it came to that tour, I can honestly say I handled it. There was some points that I did say, hey, man, be ready to give up. But just being able to push through those points and still be able to deliver night in and night out, to be there for my homie and make it the best experience for him as well as myself, just showed me I really got the hustle for it. I just got to push. I'm my biggest downfall just because I'm my biggest critic. So once I get myself out of that, skies is endless.
What was your favorite city to be in? What was your favorite city to be in?
I'm gonna go with Boston. Boston was dope. Real dope. Real dope. Actually, I'm sorry. I gotta go with New York. I gotta try to change the last minute. New York. Because I just remembered New York. New York rapped our song Chip Off the Old Block word for word as if you would have thought that we were already there. We already made it. We were already viral. And this song wasn't even, I probably would say that only had probably 1,000 streams at the time, if that. But New York, when we performed, I want to say we was at the Webster. I want to say we performed in New York. That crowd rapped that song word for word. It surprised me even more than rapping my verse because again, my boy Goose, he was the limelight for that show. You know what I'm saying? For that our set because he's the drum work artist. I was just the feature artist. But it was like just to even hear them rapping my verse word for word, hands up, head shaking, and like it was like and when we stopped, it was like the way they was going, it was like they did everything but say encore. And that was really dope to me. Even though other cities they gave us a lot of love, they really rapped that song. That what stands out to me was New York rapped that song word for word. And if anybody know, New York is one of the hardest places to get a crowd reaction. One of the hardest places to get a crowd approval when it comes to this music because they want to hear bars. You got people like Jadakiss, Styles P, Dave East. The list goes, ASAP Rock, the list goes on and we can even go into the Wu-Tang and all of them from years before. It's just New York is a hard place to get a crowd approval, and to be able to get their approval off that song was really dope.
Oh man, I'm glad you got to experience that. And Webster Hall is a legendary venue.
Yeah.
As
Oh,
well.
also too, I was able to sign my name. I tell people all the time that was a story. I was able to sign my name in a legendary shelter in Detroit, where they shot 8 Mile after Eminem had his rap battle. I was able to
St.
sign my
Andrews
name.
Hall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, super dope, man. That's great. And then Boston comes in at a close second.
Yeah. Boston was just, they crowd just itself was just dope. Like, they crowd just from not even just our performance, just overall the whole show. The whole show, just even with Conway, like the way how they, when he came out and the crowd just erupted, it was just, it was magical, really. I'm gonna say. Then the part where he had them take their lights out, the whole room, I mean, there was no lights on in this room. As soon as he said take your phones out, it was like they done turned on every light in the building. This how many phones was out. Everybody, I don't think not one person in that crowd didn't have their phones out. And it was just like, again, just seeing that behind the scenes, looking at this man, and because a lot of people don't know, we know these Griselda artists during their come ups. People know Benny from when he was on Montana. People know Conway, seeing Conway when he was on May Street and Dope. People know West Side Gun from being in Central Park, seeing them out there, knowing from being around. People notice when you from Buffalo, New York, you know these people personally. And it's like to see that man from everything he been through, from everything, to be able to see him on the stage and get that type of reaction from people that you never would have thought was just really dope. It was really dope.
That's awesome.
It really motivated me more. I got one boomerang picture I took when I was on stage, and he do his signature this. He put his hands out. I got a boomerang up. I look at it every once in a while just to get a little bit of motivation. Like, hey man, you was there. You're on your way back.
I see as you start thinking about it more and talking about it more, now these stories are starting to come out.
Because it's like when I think about the tour, I got so much. Like, it's so many stories, so many experiences, so many gems, so many jewels given, so much. Like, but when you just trying to pick one, it become like a blur in your head. And that's why I was like, the more I talk, even with the names of the people in my city, like the more I talk and the more I think about it, it's that much easier to give them their flowers.
All right, let's try it like this. Where did you have the best meal? Which city?
Phoenix.
What happened there? Where'd you eat? Mexican food or something else?
No, it was a soul restaurant. And it's crazy. I forget the name of the restaurant. It had the word bitch in it. It was just funny because all the way to walk around, no matter if you're man, woman, that's how they took your order. That's how they addressed you. And it wasn't like no disrespectful thing or nothing. This was just their slogan. Hey, bitch, what you want today? Hey, bitch, hey. And it was just funny because you got my crew that I'm with. Oh, you can't get these guys to pass to say the word bitch. Because where we from, you call a woman a bitch, hey man, they ready to fight you. So when you got these women and they say, hey bitch, and you able to say it back, it was just a funny, again, jokester stuff. You got chicks walking up, hey bitch, I need water. And it was just funny. The experience was funny. Then on top of that, the food was actually good as fuck. Good as hell. It was a joke at first. We in here like, bitch, what the hell? What? And then as the night went on, as the food came out, it was a real dope vibe. The food, it was dope. It was dope, man. Phoenix, I was like, yep, Phoenix.
I heard Phoenix is an amazing city to visit too, so I definitely want to get out there.
It's a beautiful city. I only spent, I believe, a day out there, but beautiful. From the time that I got off the plane to the time that I got back on the plane to leave. Beautiful, beautiful.
Finally, what's the impact that you want to leave behind? Let's say 20, 30 years later, what do you want people to look back and remember from you?
Never quit. Never quit. No matter what you're going through, no matter where you at in life. I come from battling depression. And I tell this story to a lot of my younger friends, younger family members. Just what you're going through at that point don't make you who you are. It's just a stepping stone. And the reason why I say that is because a lot of people feel like because they're going through it, because they don't got the money to do what they want to do, because they don't got the knowledge or the experience to do what they want to do at that point in time, it's never going to happen. No, you just got to stick to your guns. Stay 10 toes down in what you're doing. Put your 110% in it, and everything is always going to work itself out. As long as you keep your faith, and whoever your higher being is, if you believe in it, it's always going to make its way. You just got to keep the faith. The minute you lose faith in yourself, you lose everything.
I appreciate you sharing that. And it was super dope to chat with you. So thanks
Yes,
for doing
sir.
this interview.
Yes, sir. Super. Man, hopefully we can get some more, man. Hope I can come out there and we get a face-to-face, man.
Yeah, if you come out to the East Coast, hit me up, man.
Okay, I got you. Definitely.
Yeah. All right. Good luck with everything, man. And I'll catch
Yes,
you later.
sir. All right. Peace.